about the purpose behind organizing this particular event. Why specifically organize something for research and research alone at Peradeniya?
I mean, whatever said and done, Peradeniya is the research university in the country. We are on the top 500 because of our research outputs. We do produce a lot of good researchers. But one thing which is lacking is these researchers are hidden. People don't see it. So I think one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this is to showcase our research that is going on in the university, so that we can, through this event as well as later on through the web, we are going to publicize our research so that the world will know that what Peradeniya is doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Peradeniya University Research Excellence Showcase. We are here with a young researcher from the Faculty of Engineering. Why don't you introduce yourself and introduce your research just a little bit?
Yeah, I'm Upeka. I'm from the engineering faculty and I'm currently working as a teaching assistant at the engineering faculty. And when I'm talking about this research, what we are planning to do is we are trying to measure biometrics using non-invasive sensors as well as low cost. So usually right now the biometrics are measured using visual based systems, but we are trying to use these accelerometric sensors as a solution for that, because the visual based systems are more expensive and they are not very sensitive. But if we are to use this, we can take very sensitive measurements as well as entire body movement measurements, and we can use this for several applications. And right now we are focusing mostly on the garment industry, where workers suffer from several musculoskeletal related diseases, and we want to use this device to identify the activities that could cause such diseases and to work as a predictor. And it will work as a predictor and it will tell if a worker is doing something wrong, and it will mention that the way you are doing this activity is wrong and you have to correct your gait and your posture in this manner. So that's the basic plan.
Right, thank you, Upeka. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still here with the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Sciences. Sir, would you like to introduce yourself and introduce your research work as well?
Right, I'm Dr. Ruchika Fernando from the Department of Veterinary Public Health. And here we have our invention, which is a COVID-19 test kit to diagnose SARS-CoV-2 infected patients. Here we have shown that how these results can be interpreted, and this is a cost-effective and a highly sensitive and specific test kit. And the specialty about this test kit is like you don't need expensive equipment like real-time PCR machines. Also, a single cost in this test kit would be around 1,500. And if you see even rapid antigen tests, they are like at least 2,500, 300, 3,000, and even PCR is about 6,000 and 8,000 even at present rates.
Here with the research work presented by the Faculty of Dental Sciences. Madam, if you would like to introduce yourself and introduce your project as well.
I'm Dr. Madhavi Paranagama from the Department of Basic Sciences, and I'm interested in analyzing the oral health protective effects of our traditional Sri Lankan medicines, because our ancient people, our ancestors have used them over a long period of time, and we can call it as time-tested medicine. Okay? But still, the dental surgeons can't recommend them because they are not studied in a laboratory for the safety and efficacy. So our purpose is to analyze that part so that somebody can go into development of products.
Sir, would you like to introduce yourself and introduce the research work as well?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Ruan Ranavira from the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. Here what we have is a flow measurement device that we have built. So if you can remember 2017, during that time there was a dengue epidemic, dengue outbreak, during which you know, in a normal ward where you can have something like 40 patients, you had like 150 or 200 patients. So what we have here is an automatic urine flow measurement device. In addition to volume, we also can measure the flow rate. Right? So in this device, So we came up with a novel technique which is patent pending. It's based on a sensor based on a thermistor, a device, an electronic device, a very cheap device, and a control circuit which basically gets the signal from the thermistor, and then it converts that voltage that it gets from the thermistor based on what the flow on that thermistor is, and then based on that it calculates the flow rate. We have calibrated it, and then now we can actually very accurately predict the flow rate based on the signal coming
Showcase, we have here with us a young researcher from the Faculty of Engineering. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir, and introduce your invention as well? Quite an interesting invention, given that we live in a country that runs on three-wheelers, pretty much, I think.
Yes, I am Professor Leelantha Samaranayake, attached to the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya, and this is the invention or innovation rather. And here what we try to do is introduce a conversion kit for the conventional petrol-driven three-wheelers. Here we have used a battery supercapacitor hybrid energy storage system as the main source of energy, and we use an electric motor which you can see at the bottom, which is driving the vehicle. So it functions as a fully electric vehicle, and the circuits and everything has been designed and developed by our students in the faculty. The idea here is to use lead-acid batteries in place of expensive lithium-ion batteries, and we have made the charging time virtually zero, because once the battery is fully drained, you just have to pull this out and put in a new charged one, and it's like your gas cylinder. Then virtually the time for charging is the charge time that is taken to exchange against 20 to 40 minutes charge, which will require for another for an EV.
Here we are actually presenting about 10 projects conducted at the Agricultural Biotechnology Center right next door. So we have several active projects right now. Specifically, if you want to mention about this particular project on aloe vera, there is an issue. You have to identify the correct genotype before you start cultivation. Here it shows that there's a huge diversity of the genotypes in Sri Lanka. We collected about 60 samples from Sri Lanka, and then we analyzed them. We looked at their growth and their performance. They are very different from each other, and then what we did was, even though if you identify the correct type, then there's a problem in producing planting materials because it does not produce sufficient materials for acres and acres of cultivation. Therefore, we came up with a plant tissue culture protocol to propagate these selected genotypes in tissue culture media.
We have here with us the director of the University Research Council, Professor Janaka Ekanayaka. Professor, any final thoughts at the conclusion of this event?
In fact, I was really happy. As I expected, things went very well. One of the main ideas is to get networking among people, and I could really see during the lunchtime and even looking at the posters, people were engaging. So it's a very good event. I think we can go for the next event, which is the second one, with much more ideas and so on.
One final question, sir. Let's talk a little bit about the future plans of the University Research Council in the upcoming quarter or the upcoming year.
I mean, one of the new things we are introduced this year is the multidisciplinary research grant, which we are in the process of giving. So that, because the Peradeniya, which has 9 faculties, and when we work together in these multidisciplinary research areas, I think we can produce much more outputs and outcomes. So, so that is one of the focus for this year.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the director of the University Research Council here at the University of Peradeniya. Thank you so much, sir.